Welcome back to the Deep Dive. This week we are strapping on our investor hats
Okay.
and exploring the world of startup funding.
All right.
You handed us a treasure trove of intel,
Okay.
Bearhug Recruiting's summary of investments from September 9th, 2024.
Yeah. I'm seeing everything
It looks
from
like a tidal wave of innovation hit the market.
AI coding agents to lab-grown cotton, even quantum sensors.
Yeah.
Where do we even begin with this?
I'm seeing everything from AI coding agents to lab-grown cotton,
Yeah.
even quantum centers. Where do we even begin with this?
Well, what's fascinating is how this week's funding paints a clear picture of investor confidence. We're talking 17 companies,
Okay.
with investments ranging from a few million to a whopping $57 million.
Wow.
Clearly, there's some big bets being placed on the future.
Right. And speaking of big bets, one trend that jumps out immediately is the sheer pervasiveness of AI.
Right.
It's everywhere.
Right.
Blitzy wants to automate software development. Anytime AI is building a legal assistant,
It's like every industry is.
it's like every industry is getting its own AI sidekick.
Getting its own AI sidekick.
Yeah.
It's not just about adding AI for the sake of it, though. What we're witnessing is a potential paradigm shift.
Okay.
Take Blitzy, for example. If their AI-driven development platform lives up to its promise,
Okay.
we're talking about that's the million-dollar question, isn't it? While some degree of job displacement is inevitable with any disruptive technology,
Right.
it's not necessarily a zero-sum game. Remember, new technologies often create new types of jobs as well.
Right.
So instead of replacing human coders entirely, AI could free them from repetitive tasks,
Yeah.
allowing them to focus on higher-level problem-solving and creative design.
Right.
Precisely.
It's about adaptation and evolution.
Right.
The key takeaway here is that the nature of software development might change, but the demand for skilled professionals who understand how to leverage these powerful tools is likely to increase.
Exactly.
All right, so it's not all doom and gloom for coders.
Yeah.
But before we go too far down the AI rabbit hole, let's switch gears to a company that caught my eye. Oxylus Energy.
Okay.
They're turning CO2 into green methanol. It sounds like science fiction. Tell me more.
What's brilliant about Oxylus's approach is they're tackling a major pain point in decarbonization. Finding sustainable fuels for industries that are notoriously hard to electrify,
Right.
like shipping and aviation.
Yeah.
So instead of releasing CO2 into the atmosphere,
Right.
they're capturing it
Okay.
and turning it into a usable fuel source.
Wow.
That has huge implications.
Exactly. This is a prime example of carbon capture in utilization,
Right.
a technology that's gaining serious traction.
Yeah.
Instead of just reducing emissions,
Mm-hmm.
we're talking about turning a harmful greenhouse gas into a valuable resource.
Exactly.
And it's no surprise that investors like Toyota Ventures are jumping on board.
Mm-hmm.
They see the potential for this technology to revolutionize entire sectors.
Absolutely.
It's like we're flipping the script on climate change,
Yeah.
turning a problem into a solution.
Yeah.
Speaking of solutions,
Okay.
another company on my radar is Gasly.
Okay.
They've snagged a cool $33 million to develop lab-grown cotton.
Wow.
And they've already got fashion heavyweights like H&M and Inditex on board. Could this be the future of sustainable fashion?
The fashion industry's environmental impact is massive.
Yeah.
So finding alternatives to resource-intensive materials like cotton is crucial.
Right.
What Gasly is doing with lab-grown cotton could be a game changer.
Okay.
Traditional cotton farming requires vast amounts of water,
Right.
pesticides,
Mm-hmm.
and land,
Yeah.
and it often comes with questionable labor practices.
Yeah.
Lab-grown cotton, on the other hand, is produced in a controlled environment,
Okay.
dramatically reducing its footprint.
It's like the difference between factory farming and growing your own organic garden.
Exactly.
And the fact that major fashion brands are already investing suggests they see the potential for this to go mainstream.
Absolutely. This isn't just about appealing to eco-conscious consumers anymore.
Yeah.
It's about meeting a growing demand for ethical and transparent supply chains.
Right.
Consumers are becoming more aware of where their clothes come from and how they're made. This push for transparency is pushing investors and brands to support more sustainable solutions like Gasly's.
So what we're seeing is a convergence of consumer demand,
Yes.
environmental concerns,
Mm-hmm.
and technological innovation.
Yeah,
It's a perfect storm for disrupting a traditionally unsustainable industry.
absolutely.
Now, let's shift gears from fashion to heavy industry.
Okay.
Another company on this list, Mantle, is developing a technology called molten salt carbon capture.
Okay.
Sounds intense. What's the story there?
Mantell is tackling a major challenge,
Okay.
decarbonizing heavy industries,
Right.
like cement and steel production.
Yeah, those are tough ones.
These industries require extremely high temperatures,
Right.
making it difficult to capture emissions using traditional methods.
Yeah.
That's where their molten salt technology comes in.
Okay.
Imagine a mixture of molten salts that acts like a giant sponge, absorbing CO2 at those high temperatures.
So instead of going into the atmosphere, the CO2 is trapped in this molten salt mixture. What happens to it then?
That's the beauty of it.
Okay.
The CO2 can then be released from the salt in a separate process.
Mm.
From there, you can either store it permanently
Right.
or, even more intriguingly,
Yeah.
find ways to utilize it,
Right.
potentially even turning it into valuable products.
It's like we're talking about a circular economy for carbon emissions.
Exactly.
And with big-name investors like Shell Ventures and Eni next backing them, it seems like Mantell is onto something big.
Absolutely. This is a prime example of how investor interest often aligns with the need for climate solutions.
Right.
But let's not forget,
Hey.
technological innovation isn't limited to the physical world.
Right.
This Bearhug report also highlights companies like Anytime AI and Cedric AI,
Mm-hmm.
both focusing on highly specialized AI applications for the legal and financial sectors, respectively.
It does seem like everyone's getting an AI helper these days. But what are the broader implications of this trend?
Yeah.
Are we on the cusp of AI revolutionizing entire industries?
We're certainly seeing a shift towards what we call augmented intelligence,
Okay.
where AI systems work alongside humans to enhance their capabilities.
Right.
Anytime AI's legal assistant, for example, can analyze massive amounts of legal documents,
Right.
identify relevant case precedents,
Wow.
and even draft legal documents,
Right.
dramatically reducing the time and resources required for these tasks.
So instead of replacing lawyers, it's about giving them superpowers.
Exactly.
And on a similar note, Cedric AI aims to streamline the incredibly complex world of financial compliance using AI.
Right.
Yeah.
Their platform can automate tasks,
Mm.
identify potential risks,
Right.
and ensure that financial institutions adhere to ever-changing regulations.
Wow.
This could lead to a significant reduction in errors,
Right.
time saved,
Mm-hmm.
and potentially even cost savings for these institutions.
It's amazing to see how AI is being applied to such a diverse range of fields.
It is.
But with all this talk about AI's potential,
Yeah.
we have to ask, what about the risks? That's where a company like Acuity comes in, right?
Yeah.
They're focused on AI security and governance.
Exactly. As we integrate AI into more and more aspects of our lives,
Right.
it's crucial to ensure these systems are used responsibly and ethically.
Right.
Acuity is developing a platform that acts as a sort of safeguard,
Okay.
providing businesses with the tools they need to control access to AI models,
Okay.
monitor their use, and ensure compliance with regulations.
So they're like the ethical watchdogs of the AI revolution,
Right.
making sure things don't go off the rails.
That's one way to put it. Their goal is to mitigate risks associated with data breaches,
Right.
algorithmic bias,
Mm-hmm.
and the potential for unintended consequences.
Yeah.
It's about building trust and transparency into these increasingly powerful systems.
Well, from sustainable fuels to AI lawyers and ethical AI watchdogs, this deep dive into startup funding has certainly been an eye-opener. What's your final takeaway for our listener today? What should they be paying attention to as they navigate this ever-evolving landscape?
Keep your eye on the big picture.
Okay.
Notice how these seemingly disparate companies and technologies are all interconnected.
Right.
The thread that ties them together is the quest for solutions to complex challenges,
Right.
whether it's climate change,
Yeah.
industry disruption,
Mhm.
or ensuring the responsible use of powerful technologies.
Right.
The innovations we've discussed today are just the tip of the iceberg.
Right.
The real question is, what role will you play in shaping the future?
That's a wrap on another deep dive. Thanks for joining us,
Mm-hmm.
and we'll see you next time for another fascinating exploration.